locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, there got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, there got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, there got rose in my cup though.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Literally a guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin to lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to PSGL. We are here for the F2 Championship on PlayStation. It is the return to the Red Bull Ring in the Styrian Hills of Austria, and it's not the only thing returning for this season. Mr. Simon is back with me. He briefly missed Las Vegas. He was off in a completely different location to Las Vegas, but it is a pleasure to have our finest Dutchman back this evening. Timon, how are you doing?
Finest Dutchman is a big honour. I was snowboarding last week, getting my national snowboarding instructor's license. Unfortunately, within a day, pretty much around the time you were commentating, I butchered my knee. So I didn't actually get to fully complete it. But I'm back now on a new setup. It's a bit of a new room, and I will warn you right now, I am running the most scuffed setup you've seen. This is my PC, where I'm at now, and this is the same mic that will be used in the race. Here it sounds decent, but once I plug it into my laptop, it all goes it goes very poorly. So yeah, the longer I'm here, the more happy I am. But the audio quality will go down a bit, but it should be all fixed next week when I get a second headset, which is actually also good for my laptop, hopefully. So and then it should be all fixed. But I'm looking forward to this race. Obviously, last weekend we had Las Vegas, and championship-wise, not a lot changing. You had Knuf, Matteo, Zorzo, and Danielle, the top 4 in the standings, getting a top 4 result, which is always nice to see. But the fight for the championship title, it's going towards the way of Knuf. Obviously, only 4 rounds into the championship, he has got 37 points, and he seems to be driving away from Matteo.
Yes, we've got your championship update on screen now. Timon is running a little bit of a scuffed setup, as he said, so bear with us. Everything will be perfect in future races. But Youth is leading the championship still after a very impressive Las Vegas Grand Prix. Of course, he was very happy to receive P2, and although he's been fairly calm on, I suppose, predicting a championship, he is now saying that he can go and win it. Or Matteo is then in second after going from like P5 to P2. We are readying up timing, by the way, just if you want to know. Zorzo then is in third for Mercedes, then it is Danielle, Ian Van Noonen, Covers, Dirk, Fede, Johan, Skyline, then it is Dark, Noel, Enzo, Tales, Philip, Diogo Silva, Kart Racer, Flopman, Ghost Kings, and Macho. Newt, however, despite having a really good start to the season, has not won a race yet. He's not won a race in 4 PSGL seasons. He's looking to change that here this evening in the Red Bull Ring. Of course, last time we were at the Red Bull Ring, it was Enelor Keke who won the race, of course, our old F3 champion and F2 driver. But here is what these guys will be facing this evening. This is the 4.381 kilometer Red Bull Ring here in the Styrian Hills and just near Spielberg. Designed by the very famous Herman Tilke, has 32 gear changes per lap average in a Formula 1 car and about a 16.1 second pit loss. The strategy around here is usually fairly different. Sometimes the overcut usually works. We saw Thomas Ronhaar with a very successful overcut in one of the various PSGL races, and hopefully we can see something similar here this evening. It's got a 63.5 elevation change over a lap, second to Spa on the Formula 1 calendar, and ahead of the Circuit of the Americas. A lot of people think that run up to Turn 1 in the Circuit of the Americas is the second largest after Spa, but no, the Red Bull Ring takes the crown. The full F1 race distance is about 71 laps. We will be doing a lot less than that here this evening. We're going to head trackside now at the Red Bull Ring. It is a lovely, dry Monday evening here in Spielberg, and the locals will be very happy about that, and I imagine some of the drivers here will be as well. Timon, are you back with us? Your headphones you are deafened, if that makes any sort of a difference. We'll leave him for a second. Hopefully we can get Timon back with us. Oh, I've seen an unmute button.
I know, I was testing which mic was somewhat the correct one, because I think this audio quality is somewhat decent. Correct me if wrong.
We can hear you, so that's a good start. I can adjust your audio levels anyways on OBS. We can make it a little bit louder.
Because all of a sudden, I had a lot more options for this mic, so I got confused. But we're in the qualifying session. No, I had to leave the VC to join on my laptop because it's a mess. Either way, of course, I don't know if you talked about the track or not, but I will. We are racing around the Red Bull Ring, which is, for starters, one of the more basic tracks that we need to drive at. So we can expect a few DRS trains, but we can also expect to see some great racing and overtaking. Of course, the run up towards turn number 3 is always a lovely overtaking spot. Turn 4 is a corner where you can overtake as well. And don't forget the second to last corner. It is a dark horse corner for some moves, but we have seen them before, and we probably will be seeing those overtakes again at that moment. Currently leading the train to start their lap times is a certain Shazoo driver. It is Shazoo Fede. He is preparing to start his lap time around the Red Bull Ring. It's a big train, so I can only assume that we will get a 5-place grid penalty because everyone's so closely running towards each other. Shazoo Noel, who was already DNF'd from this session, I can only presume that he does have a qualifying ban, which is something we will not pay all that much attention to. But Shazoo Fede finally starting his lap time. Now coming up towards turn number 1 with DRS deployed. Of course, 3 DRS zones around this beautiful track. Want to hit the apex on turn 1 a little bit. I don't know if you want to fully go over the curb. I know you used to be able to on the previous games, but I'm not a driver anymore and I don't know the quick tactics. Coming up towards the first sector split already, it's a 16.1, breaking up towards turn number 3 because you have that turn 2, which is a little bit of a bend, which unfortunately counts as a corner, which makes our life as commentator a bit more difficult. Coming up towards turn number 4, now I want to ride the full apex on the left hand side, brake towards, I believe it is around 100, hit the apex there a little bit, and then fully abuse that exit because you've got that little strip on the right hand side of the curve, which you can use also much again. Using fully on the right hand side. Want to hold this corner as long as possible, and here you want to turn in really late because you want to hit this apex late so you can carry a lot of momentum through that. Fede currently looking to have quite a good lap going. Middle sector split has already been reached at an earlier point, so I clearly missed that one. Going up towards the final 2 corners now. Don't want to invalidate in the final corner, which is so easy to do, and then coming up towards the line. The banker lap time for Fede is going to be a 3.6.
It's a good lap there, 3.6. It's beaten by Skyline, however. He is going to topple the times. Cover's not able to get a lap in. He is invalidated. Niels then goes to fourth. Macho goes to first. They're coming in thick and heavy here through the final couple of corners. Maxona Geest has invalidated his lap. There's going to be a Williams across the line as well. We're just trying to keep up. Here's Tales across the line. He's actually starting a qualifying lap. Jacob Conius is going to be coming into the pit lane. He'll not be setting a valid time on this attempt. One AlphaTauri still in the session. We presume Noel it's a qualifying suspension. I'll double check that in a few moments. Here comes Van Unen to the line, of course. Was on for a win last week, then was involved in a collision and was taken out of that one, but he's gone quickest, 103.417. More drivers coming around the final corner. Here comes Matteo, second in the championship, seventh on the grid. Then Phil coming towards, or apologies, Danielle coming across the line now for Haas. He goes to fourth. We've got the Aston Martin of Dirk here coming across the stripe on the ground, and it's P4 for him. Then there's a handful of Alpines coming through the final corners. This is your championship leader, the German of NLR Youth. Where's he going to go in qualifying across the line? Oh, it's pole position for now for Newt. That is an absolute beauty of a run. Just about beats Van Unen. So he's got the psychological advantage, not necessarily that much of a pace advantage, but certainly a psychological advantage here for sure. It's a 103.410 for Newt, and then Ian Van Unen is 0.006 behind, but we've still got some qualifying laps left to go. Zorzo being one of them. He's heading in towards the final sector now. Was an alright middle sector for Zorzo. Coming into the right-hander now and then in towards turn number 10. This is the Red Bull Mobile Curve, or the Red Bull Mobile Curve, whatever way you want to call it. Here comes Zorzo to the line, and that is going to be sixth for the Mercedes. TF10 Dark is on a run as well. He's heading up towards turn number 3, but we've got a little bit of a breather in the action. And Dark has actually gone purple in the first sector, 15.9. That is not bad at all. 103.4 is not bad for the first banker run either. It's not quite a 102.7 that we saw in one of the PSGL tiers on the PC side of things, but I shall say no more on that regard.
Yeah, Dark being actually somewhat nice to us because he's always running whenever all the main guys are either in the pit lane or on their outlap. So we always got some kind of entertainment to look forward to. TF10 Dark currently purple sector 1, purple sector 2. So it seems like it's going to be a very solid lap time for TF10 Dark. But of course, we do know that that middle sector could be a little bit glitched coming up towards those final 2 corners. Again, hitting the inside nicely, but it's a bit too much, and that's the issue at this track. It is so easy to invalidate and nearly losing the rear end of the car there as well. Still running towards the line. It would have been a 3.6, and without that mistake, you would have to question where would he have ended up. But still, it's a good banker lap time for Dark, of course, if he drove it valid. But he still has a delta, and he knows where to improve or where to just play it a little bit safe now. Tella's also driving a little bit of a poorer lap. That's because he went off track in the second to last corner, did not get invalidated, and decided to yield on that towards the line, so he did not improve or not really set a competitive lap time. So that's the reason why he has got a 7.4. Meanwhile, looking at the timesheet, we got NLR Knuf up in P1 with a 3.410. Then we got Ian Van Unen in second with a 3.417. So only 0.07 of a second in between them. And then we got 2 more drivers who are on a 0.4, which are Macho and Skyline. Everything is very close towards each other, but that's what we would expect from a track like Austria. Track which does not really require all that much skill, if I may have to say it, but it is an easy track and there's not really a corner where you can majorly gain or lose time. That's why all those lap times are so close towards each other. I'm currently on board with someone named Jacob Conias, of course the Australian. I do believe he's Australian or New Zealand. How do you call New Zealand people? That's actually a good question.
New Zealanders or Kiwis?
I mean, either way, it's an
Australian,
though. One of them. Yeah, I would assume he's Australian, but I mean...
No, he is. He 100% is Australian.
It's pretty much the same.
Oh, don't tell them that. That's the same as that's just like calling me English.
Jake Conius on a lap, and there goes his lap because he turned in a little bit too early, hit the inside apex, lost the rear end of his car, and that's not the qualifying side Jacob Conius was looking for. 2 out of his 4 rounds already thrown in the bin because drivers can choose softer compounds here and go for those 4 lap times. Meanwhile, we got OP covers a dark horse always in his championship to watch out for. He is currently on his lap time. Gonna see if he can improve there. I mean, he will always be able to improve since he invalidated his first lap time coming towards the line now. Is this going to be quickest? It is going to be quickest at 3.268. And OP covers again showing to everyone that he is still definitely a contender in his championship and someone to majorly look out for. Skyline, meanwhile, on a lap time as well. He's 11,000 of a second slower in the middle sector coming towards the line. It is P2 for him. TF10 Skyline up towards second with a 0.3. Then we got another Alfa Romeo towards the line. I do believe that is not Zane. It is Fede. Fede coming towards the line at this point around. He goes second again as well. 3.353 this time. And now we got a whole bunch of guys coming towards the line. I do believe it's Amateo starting his lap time again as well. And I'm just trying to see who's next. Knuf is coming out already. Sorry.
Yeah, Knut is going out of the pits. Van Oonen on a lap as well. So is Dirk. It is a change at the top. It's now covers, and then Fede, who are 1 and 2. We are into the 103.2s. I would like us to get into the 102s, but probably a little bit doubtful at that regard. Another fun fact for you. I'm big into my statistics, usually driver statistics. Here's a little bit of a commentator's fact. 1 season ago, here at the Red Bull Ring, Mr. Timon Blanken made his PSGL F2 debut. What a barnstormer we had on that day as well. We had Tellez cutting through the pack. We had KK taking the win. Hopefully we can have something similar here today. Fede is on an in-lap. Skyline is into the pit lane. And Ian Van Oonen has invalidated his next best efforts. Let's see what Dirk can do as the Aston Martin roars through the Worth curve and in through turn number 8 down towards the Jochen Rindt right-hander. Then the final corner where we've seen many a driver make a mistake across the PSGL years. Here comes Dirk to the line. That's quite nippy for the final corner. That's got to be third. Onto the second row out of his TF10 teammate. But a fellow McLaren, Matteo, bit of a tank slapper out of the first corner it seems. Oh no, he's no longer on a push run. So that is why he's having a tank slapper out of the first corner. Big improvements in the middle sector for Danielle. Let's say 44.3. Danielle, of course, our latest man to introduce himself to the Roll of Honour. Won the Las Vegas Grand Prix in stunning fashion, mind you. It was about a 4-second win. That, however, is not stunning fashion. He's invalidated his lap right at the end, and that lap would have been up there as well. A 103.4. That's a very, very decent run indeed. Let's take a look at the man who was on pole with his first attempt. Newt heading through turn number 1 now, the corner that was renamed after the late death of Niki Lauda. That is, of course, the Niki Lauda curve, and running up through turn 2, which is just a brief left-hander, but of course there is the chicane there for the motorcycle races, or more specifically MotoGP. There was a bit of a freak accident at turn 3 involving Valentino Rossi. In the past, Diogo Silva has gone to second. Just we didn't get to catch him across the line, unfortunately, but he has gone to second. We'll keep a look here at Enelor Newt coming into the middle sector now, down through the Schloss Gold. James Head's favourite corner name out of Annie to say. He was saying hello in the stream chat earlier. Make sure you tune into PSGL F1 at a later time of 8 PM. Big middle sector for Newt. 0.2 of a second quicker than we saw Danielle go. So Newt is, or still has, a bit of time in hand here. If he can nail these final 2 corners, this could easily go quickest so far this session. But there's a tough rostrum to beat to put himself up there. Let's see, can the German do it? Can he go back quickest here at the Red Bull Ring? He absolutely can. First man in the 103.1s. Great lap from Newt. He is an absolute bubble of confidence coming into this one today, and he is just soaring here at the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely what Knuf needed to do. He wants to win this championship. He wants to extend it. And he is proving and doing exactly what he needs to be doing. Nearly a 10th clear of Covers. It is absolutely incredible. But Covers, he still has 2 more runs to go. And he's about to start his 3rd run. And I kind of want to go fully on board with Covers because he is a man to watch out for and to disrupt Knuf's pole position chances currently. Covers having a clean turn 1. But of course, we will watch out for other cars coming across the line again as well. But now sector 1 split, there was a low 16 earlier on. This is an 18.5 and it's already 77 thousandths of an improvement, which pretty much clears the full gap that he had towards Kloof. So if he maintains his lap time or makes some slight improvements only, he will be regaining pole position coming now towards Schloss Gold, which is an incredible corner name. I mean, James, fair play to you. It kind of reminds me of the German exam I had to do. I don't speak fluent German now at all. I only know a few words which relate to snowboarding. But now coming up towards it, oh, it's a very wide 1.5 tenths clear though. Even with that mistake, he still does it absolutely incredibly and covers is now steamrolling towards a 0.0. And maybe even if he absolutely nails this final sector, it could be a 0.9 coming in towards those final two corners where the cut as much as the inside as possible. Not run wide, he nearly does so on the absolute limit. Covers goes there with a 3.129. And if he had not run or touched that gravel, what could this lap have been?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. That's not the perfect lap from Covers. I reckon he can go quicker. Let's see. Can Van Unen respond to the two high flyers here at the Red Bull Ring, flying it through the final corner? That was a very nice line through there for Ian Van Unen. Can he put his name in the mix? Absolutely can. Second row of the grid, just ahead of Diogo Silva. Van Unen goes to third for AlphaTauri Formula 1. Purple in the final sector as well. It tells us whether that is legit or not. Take it with a pinch of salt. This is unfortunately a game that is still made by Codemaster. Skyline across the line. He goes to fourth, just behind Ian Van Unen. This is going to be a fabulous end to qualifying at the Red Bull Ring. Niels, unfortunately, cannot improve on his second run. He currently sits 12th, the second of two Alpines. He is, of course, teammates with Newt for this evening, and teammates with Newt all of the time, so I don't really know why I said this evening, but Alpine certainly having a much better season than they did last season. It was P8 in the Constructors' standings last season. It wasn't Newt and Niels on board, of course, but they are having a much better season. Niels, of course, P3 in the PSGL F3 Championship last season. Newt probably does not like me reading out where he finished last season. It was 17th in the F2 standings, so it's a very, very good turnabout for NLR Newt, but he's a different man this season. He's a different character, and he's a man who is rejuvenated. He's confident. Speaking of confidence, Danielle, purple, middle sector, improving by 0.2 of a second. We saw him make a mistake in this final sector, however. He's going to want to not repeat that again. In towards the right-hander of Rindt, and this is the corner where it all went wrong from a time ago. Nailed it this time. Can DL put his name in the mix? It's only 9th, but still, just take a look at that. The top 18 drivers here in PSGL F2 are separated by under 0.6 of a second. The top 10 are separated by just over 2.5.
Yeah, you need to include in that it's one person who's got a quality ban and the other one has not set a vetted lap time yet. That is dark because, to my knowledge, 2 times he screwed up in the second to last corner getting invalidations on the outside. But if we just look at the current standings, there are 2 names that are getting my attention. Danielle, first of all. I mean, as a championship contender, by the way, we got our 5th place grip penalty, so we will be doing a restart. Danielle is a championship contender. If you want to prove yourself and if you want to continue on that, I do not think that P9 is quite the result that you need to get. But if we're going to talk about championship contenders, Zorzo, P14. That is not the position you want to see yourself in. We know that Zorzo can do combat drives. He's done it before, but I do believe that also Danielle is unable to do another lap because he is in too late. So this final bit of qualifying will indeed be very interesting. Let's go on board to the first man to start his lap time, which is Jacob Konias. He's already passed most of the traffic, 0.008 of a second currently upcoming towards sector split number 2. Let's see if he is able to keep up all that momentum. Those long swinging corners are so absolutely beautiful and stunning. 1.5 tenths improvement from Jacob Konias, and it doesn't seem like 1.5 tenths is going to be enough because I do not believe that he made any significant errors early on, and I do think Jacob Konias is genuinely just struggling to find the pace here around this track. Watch him put a lap time that's now good enough for Paul. But Jacob Konias coming towards the line, and it is an P8. I mean, I should just not talk anymore. But Talis now coming up towards his lap time because he is also a name that's often very quick. Last season, obviously, swinging around the fully around it, and proved to everyone that he is indeed a contender. But he's doing a double out lap, so a little bit more tire wear for him on less fuel. So that means that he will be all ready for the final lap, which pretty much everyone is starting right now.
Zorzo is also responding to the Thyman claims. He has done a 15.9 the first sector. It's not quite Covers as 15.8, but it is still relatively quick. Let's see what the middle's like for Zorzo. 44.2, it's decent. It's not good enough for Pole, however. He's got to track and find a little bit more time in this final sector. Your top three have all gone on their final runs of the session. Mercedes, of course, had a brilliant qualifying last time out in Las Vegas, and the race fell away from them. Can they put the rights wrong? Zorzo, only 10th on the grid. He's not going to be happy with that one. Let's take a look, however, at your top three. Covers, then it's Newt. Newt actually is pulled off to the left-hand side, so Newt is done here in this session. Covers also might be not improving on what we thought was not quite a perfect lap. He's diving for the pit lane. Ian Van Unen, the lights have shown to your AlphaTauri. It's time to prove why you are the best here in PSGL F2. He's got one more sector, 2 more corners to be exact, to find an awful lot of time. But if anyone can do it, Ian Van Unen can. In towards the Red Bull mobile curve. No, he's taken too much. Van Unen cannot perform when the lights shine brightest. Now the door is wide open for an outside shot. Maybe Skyline can be the man who can provide that. The sky is the limit for Skyline. What can he do heading through the middle sector? Big lap for Dirk there. He's gone up to third. Skyline 44.2 matches what we saw from Zorzo in the middle sector, but he's ahead of Zorzo, so he's going to want to go a little bit quicker than that. There's more cars coming across the line as well. Fede has invalidated, so Skyline has clear track in front. Rotates it for the final corner nicely. Shifting up the gears, what can he do? It's only 6th position. Jacob, of course, who we saw earlier, and Zane dives into the pit lane. Can Dark go from last to first? No, he's not got a lap on the board at all. Covers had it covered and is on pole for the Austrian Grand Prix.
I think a lot of drivers here were able to go a lot quicker, and pressure and small mistakes can cost you a full lap time here. You should ask that to TF10 Dark, because he indeed has not set a single valid lap time, which is very unfortunate for him. Since we are doing a lobby restart, I'm going to do a magic trick and appear in a different room in a few seconds.
You go running for a moment, Timon. We'll catch up with you in a moment. Timon, of course... Oh, I've just pulled my microphone's arm off. Apologies for the loud noise. I don't really know how I've done that, but Timon is working on 2 setups this evening just while he gets everything sorted on his new PC. Aren't we all jealous? But your qualifying results for the Austrian Grand Prix, we will go to a restart due to the 5-place grid penalty for Nils, which presumably isn't fair. That's just protocol here in PSGL, but it is Covers, Newt and Dirk, your top 3 in qualifying. We'll have a bit of a discussion for an after, but we are waiting to just see. We are waiting for Jacob Conius exactly to get into the pit lane, and then we can run you through your top 10. Here we go, right on cue. It is Covers who starts on pole position. Look how close it is between himself and Newt. We mentioned Valentino Rossi during the session. It's 0.048 is the gap between them, as that's not Valentino Rossi's number at all. His number's 46. Do not kill me, please, Italians. It's Dirk then in 3rd, Van Unen in 4th, Macho in 5th, Skyline in 6th, Diogo Silva in 7th, and Fede, Max van der Geest, Jacob Conius, and it is Johan, Zorzo, Danielle, Zane, Matteo, Niels, Thales, Phil, Dark, and no. Folks, we're going to have a quick word from our sponsors, then we'll come back for a little bit of a post-quali rundown while we get everything set up for the Austrian Grand Prix. See you in a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to PSGL. Oh, apologies. Timon is a settings menu for a second. Where is Timon? That's my profile picture. Oh, apologies. I had my Discord settings open. There he is. Don't worry, Timon. It was just me being an imbecile again. We are getting everything ready for the Austrian Grand Prix here in PSGL. We have a lobby restart due to a 5-place grid penalty for Nils. But in terms of qualifying, it was Covers who managed to take pole position. Not his first pole position of the season, mind you. He, of course, took it for the Hungarian Grand Prix as well. But Covers is very good in qualifying timing, but he's only 6th in the championship with 1 podium and 2 DNFs. Is today the day he finally finds some race consistency?
I mean, that's always a big question. Can I answer it? Potentially, you can find consistency in the race, but qualifying and racing is very different. And if you're able to perform in quali, you might have a setup which is a slight bit more focused towards the qualifying side of things. And of course, a race, it's going to be 36 laps, where you're going to do like 20 laps on the hards, or like, yeah, other way around. 20 laps on the medium, no, so 20 laps on hard, 60 laps on mediums. So you want to be able to be consistent on the same tire for a long time. There's going to be a lot of dirty air running, so you need to also watch out for that. And it's going to be many overtaking, many DRS games. And ideally, you want to run a low amount of wings. So you're able to overtake on the straight, but that means that you do lose performance in the qualifying session. Obviously, there's been a session restart, so drivers are able to pick a different setup. So now the question will be, we will be running the lowest set of wings while still being able to maintain enough downforce to keep your pace and be able to be close enough to overtake on the straight itself. It's going to be a bit of a setup game to see who's actually going to be quick in this race. But for me, this race, it's always very different to the other ones. Not really is this, together with Vegas, a race that you're going to win on pace alone. It's going to be very much DRS games. A lot's going to be possible, and I think we're going to see a lot of chaos, and we should love it.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I don't think this one's going to be won by pace. But in terms of covers, he's P6 in the championship this season. Last season, in season 34, he was P4 in the championship. So it's a bit of a downgrade at the moment for covers, but we've still got plenty of races coming up. And we're going to talk about them now. Here is your calendar on screen, of course. After today's Austrian Grand Prix, we head to the Autodromo di Nazionale Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. And then we do head to Marina Bay, an updated Marina Bay for the Singaporean Grand Prix. It's the same circuit that you saw for the 2023 FIA Formula 1 Singapore Grand Prix. We're going to probably have a lot more safety cars in PSGL, however. Then we go on a little bit of a Christmas break for the winter off-season. I know, when everybody's off, we don't race. But we're going to have a bit of a Christmas break so everyone can spend time with their families. And then they come back to their racing family here in PSGL for round number 8, which is the Spanish Grand Prix, the Circuit of Barcelona Catalunya in Montemelo. Then we head back stateside. We're going to America. It is Miami, the Miami Autodrome, which circles around, of course, the Miami Dolphins Hard Rock Stadium is round number 9. Then we come back over to Silverstone for the British Grand Prix, penultimate round of the season. It's been a season finale in PSGL F2 a few times. It's going to be the penultimate round of the season this time. And then we head to Bahrain. A traditional season opener track will close out the season here in season 35. And then there'll be one more, I believe, on the F1 2023 game before Connor and all the folks in management prepare for the next game cycle. And God knows what that will bring. But we're almost getting ready to go here for the Austrian Grand Prix, which is our focus for today. We're going to take one more look at the championship standings before this evening's round. And Timon, if you're new, are you going all out for the race win here, or just picking up some more consistent points? Because the gap isn't large, but it is sustainable.
Knowing Knoof is going to be consistent. I was fortunate enough to be in a team with Knoof, so I somewhat know how he drives, what he thinks. And Knoof is always a driver that has been very consistent, and I would assume that he will be consistent today as well. And he will just try to remain at the front for as long as possible, and he won't mind if it's P2 or P3. He just needs to score consistent points over and over and over again, because seemingly there's not going to be a driver that's going to be winning multiple races in a row, because we have 4 different race winners. Of course, Ian winning race number 1, Mateo winning race number 2, then you got Dirk winning race number 3, and Danielle for race number 4. Are we going to have 5 different race winners in 5 races? I certainly think it is very possible. Because this whole grid is just so strong and close towards each other. Those opportunities do arrive, and at the end of the day, it's just a matter of being consistent. Because our championship leader, Knoof, he's not won a race yet. He's got 2 second places and 1 third place. Of course, he's been the most consistent. It's how he's gotten here, and it's probably what he will be doing again. So, to answer your question, shortly, no, I think he'll be consistent.
I was, of course, speaking to Newt after last week's race. In the interview, and me and you usually have a bit of a chat after as well, the races after we go off air. And genuinely, he was absolutely delighted with how Las Vegas went, and he was really looking forward to this evening's race as well. So he's clearly a man who is confident coming into this evening. He is very positive about what could happen in this evening's race, and I'm very positive about what could happen in this evening's race as well. I think we just got a grid set, the lobby just updated, so we'll be slowly moving into the race proceedings soon. It is, of course, the 36-lap Austrian Grand Prix. Timon, you're the man with a lot of team insight. What's the best strategy here?
I do believe that actually starting on the medium tire here is a very underrated strategy, and it's also actually very quick. But normally you would do like hard medium. Mediums are solid for around 16 laps. You want to do as many laps on the mediums as possible. So yeah, around the lap 20 mark, I would expect hard medium pit stops. At least that's a strategy that I did not long ago, as in like probably 2 days ago, and I went from the back of the grid towards P3. So that's a strategy I would presume that will happen, but they have got strategies. They have also probably all mathematically fully figured it out. So I'm sure that they will do completely something else than we would expect. But the drivers are about to ready up, and then we're all getting ready for the race. So yeah, probably before the race we'll hear a talk from our sponsors. But don't forget, we also have these GT Omega chairs. So yeah, definitely check those out.
Well done, Timon. Right on time, man, because we're gonna go for a word from our sponsors. We'll let Timon get to his other setup. We'll be back. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Red Bull Ring. I believe Timon has just joined the Discord call, but we're going to take one last look at the circuit track map here this evening. You can see 3 DRS zones, 3 DRS detection points, and 10 corners. It is sometimes known as the box. It is, of course, the A1 ring, the Red Bull Ring, whatever you like to call it. It is a fabulous circuit. The Austrian Grand Prix, of course, debuted in 1963 at Zeltwig Airfield, but that didn't actually achieve championship status until 1964, where Lorenzo Bandini for Ferrari won the race. The A1 ring then hosted 7 F1 races between 1997 and 2003, and then, of course, we returned in 2014 for Formula 1, and PSGL has been there ever since. Timon, if you're back with us, quick prediction from you, please.
Covers.
Okay, that was really quick, but Covers says Timon Covers to go for his first race win this season. It would be a task for him to do it, but all the people in the stream chat, all the people being one who's joined me in the commentary box, do believe that the man on pole position can convert it to a win and take his second podium of the season. Mercedes, of course, are 2 points behind Aston Martin, actually, in the constructors' standings, so a win for them would also go a long way. Softs to medium also could be a viable strategy, says James Head in the stream chat. Timon, however, is disagreeing with him, so this is going to be really interesting to see how it plays out, who gets bragging rights on the commentary team. And we may also have a little bit more about that soon in the future, but I'm not going to touch on that because we head to the grid. 4, 5 red lights here in the Styrian Hills, and we go racing in Austria. Brilliant start from Van Unen, tucks up right in the slipstream of Dirk. Newt got a good launch as well, in towards turn number 1, 2 abreast, bit of a nudge for the Alfa Romeo of Fede as well, but coming up the hill now, in towards turn number 2, this is where Newt can pounce, where Newt can attack on the back of the Mercedes, in towards the first real overtaking zone on the circuit. They're all looking for moves in the background, heavy braking into the hairpin, the 2 Red Bulls involved in a bit of a battle as well, but there's another run down towards the Schnorsgold. Is Newt close enough? No, not for now. Covers will lead the opening lap here at the Red Bull Ring. Macho trying it the long way around the outside of Van Unen. Bit of contact between the two. Macho almost forced onto the gravel, but all A-OK for the different looking Ferrari here today. And Macho will remain in 5th, still on the pounce, trying to get past Ian Van Unen. Covers leads the opening lap.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good start from Covers, and I do not think anyone has picked up any damage at all, so it is a very good sign in that way. Johan trying to go for a move up inside of Jacob Coney. As I said, the second to last corner is going to be an interesting corner for overtakes, and the first one has happened already. Johan going up the inside there. It's a corner where you don't really expect it, and once you're up the inside there, you have such a capability to just fully keep it up the inside there. B14, 15. Watch out for those two guys, because they will be, hopefully, for them moving up the field. It is also and Danielle, two drivers were inside the top 4 in the concurrent standings. They will be looking to make a move all the way up the field. And again, we don't really see a lot of overtakes besides Zorzo and Zane are both going up the inside there. Zorzo actually making off the move already on Armateo. Armateo being in a good position for the championship as well. We got Danielle trying to make 3 wide behind, trying to pick up the scraps from this battle. Just putting in behind there. It is still Dark going around the outside there as well, getting a little bit of a squeeze, but it's still side by side now up towards turn number 6 in Rauch, trying to keep it all the way around the outside. Zorzo, it is an amazing battle, by the way. Still, Armateo and Zorzo keeping it so respectful between each other all the way around the outside in the Wolf Curve. This is an absolutely incredible battle. It's a full lap side by side, but a little bit more overtake used by Armateo because it's already derated for Zorzo, and Armateo does keep that position. But wow, what an amazing battle already on lap 2.
That was brilliant. Incredible driving from the two of them. The Mercedes-powered Aston Martin and then the quite obviously Mercedes-powered Mercedes scrapping for the fall of the second lap here in Austria. But battle for the race lead. We cannot get up there quick enough because Newt has soared past Covers for the race lead. The German is up past the German machinery being driven by a Dutchman here in Austria. Great move from Newt, although it was fairly simple in the DRS. He now leads and obviously feels there's a bit of a pace advantage there. There's also a little bit of a schism forming in the train, as you can see. Dirk slowly falling away after being ahead of Ian Van Unen. Battling in the background, Zorzo losing another spot. That's Noel as well, who's losing a spot. The young Hungarian, unfortunately, down in 18th, not really getting another move here back on the train. Apologies for the notification, by the way. I should have them turned off because I'm pretty sure the exact same thing happened last season here in Austria, but ignore them. Two Red Bulls here at the Red Bull Ring, 9th and 10th, both scoring points for now. That's quite good running from them, but they're going to want a little bit more. It is 106.5, the fastest lap of the race for the race leader of Newt, but dare I say there's going to be another swap around here because Covers has the DRS. He has his wing wide open and he is hunting. Although I say that, the Aston Martin behind him is looking to make a move. Dirk is going to try the outside on the Mercedes in towards Remus. And now Covers diving down the inside of Newt here. It was defenses or attacks, the best form of defense, should I say. They're now nip and tuck down the uphill straight here at the Red Bull Ring. Dirk looking to make this a 3 wide moment in towards the corner, but it's not actually worked. He's actually tagged the Mercedes slightly. That allows Newt to get the run on the outside, heading up towards Roche of the left-hand curve. Newt still leads the Austrian Grand Prix ahead of Covers. Dirk falls into 3rd. Incredible batting, but more incredibly, no positional change.
Yeah, I mean, it was a slight positional change because Covers was fully ahead for one moment. But still, it is well fought, and I'm surprised that those race leaders are already fighting with each other. They should just maintain tire wear and just keep it simple between the two of them and let all the fighting happen behind them. Even Van Unen going for a move up the inside of Dirk in towards turn number 1. Let's hope that they all survive. It's very late on the break, and Dirk nearly collecting the rear end of Covers, but still keeping it fully alive. Dirk needing to go off track to make that move stick. Skyline there, though, going fully past. I don't believe there's an illegal overtake for Dirk, maybe, or he's just going incredibly slow. But Skyline making 3 moves happen there. Meanwhile, move for the lead as well. Covers now fully in the lead. Dirk in 3rd place with Kloop still in 2nd there. You got Skyline, Macho, and Ian, and everything seems to be happening at the same time. Ian on the overtake now trying to make a move at the red tie between Macho and Ian, but it's all still alive. Armateo and Zane to prevent a switch back because Zane is able to now stick behind them and keep it all chilled. All drivers are on the hard set of tires besides TF10 Dark. He's the only driver on a set of mediums, but unable to really make any big gains forward. So it seems to be a very simple strategic game forward, hard towards the medium tires, all pitting around lap number 20. Question is, who will go first to make that massive undercut? Because with a train like this, you can gain a lot of positions. Who will be able to do the overcut and have a really big tire advantage at a later stage? Meanwhile, Knuf is going to go for an overtake on towards the lead again and going up the inside towards Remus, and he keeps it nice and tidy up the inside. Easy move, doesn't give Covers any opportunity for a switchback at all, and he makes that mistake. Meanwhile, Diogo Silva and Max van der Kies are still side by side as well. There seems to be a question of who has the most straight line speed there, and the other Red Bull, Johan, is going side by side with Fede again as well. Now, who is later on the brakes? It is Max. He has fully passed Diogo Silva, but a little mistake. Diogo Silva coming back at him. These battles are just seemingly going on forever, and behind him it's still side by side again as well. Rauch in there. Max van der Kies makes that position 6. Same goes for Johan. Both Red Bulls making a move in Rauch.
Great battling across the board here. The positions are changing. Everything is ebbing and flowing, and this is a brilliant Austrian Grand Prix, and we've got about 30 more laps to go here at the Red Bull Ring. Incredible. If you enjoy the action, make sure to pop a subscription on the PSGL YouTube channel. Make sure to like the stream and tell everybody that PSGL F2 is absolutely the best place to spend your Monday evenings. Here comes Skyline looking to tuck into the slipstream with the Aston Martin in front, but Dirk is just being assisted by the DRS and the slipstream, so Skyline not really allowed to have a go here, but I'm sure of it that we'll have more moves in the background. There's actually 3 cars into the pit lane as well, and there was a bit of a dive bomb there from Fede up the inside of Johan, but those two will still continue down the straight here in towards the slosh goal. The Alfa Romeo tucks into the slipstream of the Red Bull. The Aston Martin and Matteo as well. Gotta look for a move here. Big send up the inside from Matteo. Oh, he's very lucky he didn't get the front chopped off from there. The Alfa Romeo certainly had the apex, or certainly was allowed to take his apex for that corner. Matteo was nowhere near enough alongside, but both clean racing, both very good racers with very good spatial awareness, and they were both able to keep their cars in one piece. But just take a look at this train. We have from 17th up to 1st all in the one train. We'll put the tyres on screen briefly, and you can see Noel, Phil and Niels all went for the medium compounded tyres. Apologies for not having the tyres on the screen fully, folks. It just takes up way too much of the action here, so we'll keep you updated on the tyres. We'll keep popping it up frequently. And yeah, we can enjoy this fabulous racing. Up the hill again we go, and let's see what happens this time. Is it going to be a lot more calm? It seems like we're going to have the first calm appearance. Nope, ignore that. Here comes Danielle going for this one up towards turn 3 of Remus. He's at the inside of the Aussie of Jacob Konius. The German comes out on top on that one. Good move there from last week's race winner Danielle. He's up to 12th.
Yeah, and I mean, fairly relaxed lap. Normally, we commentators are like, oh, we would like to see some action on this lap, and we are getting it on every single lap. And this is the biggest commentator's scores ever, because we're not going to get any more. Unfortunately, I'll ruin it for us, Evan. But it's been so dramatic over those past 7 laps, and only 3 drivers with damage, seemingly all getting it at the same time, or at least deciding to fix the damage at the same lap time. You've got Jesus Noel, ERT Phil, and Juventus Racing Niels, which Juventus Racing doesn't really exist anymore, but still.
We'll let him have it.
But yeah, those drivers all have decided to pit at the same time, and they will most likely stay out for a long time, hope for a safety car to then get back in towards the race, and Noel will likely also set a purple lap time at a later stage. There goes Covers again for that lead. Easy dive up the inside, easy pickings, easy done. It is there, the move, and they just need to watch out this front two that Dirk does not snoop away a position there, because he is just chilling on seemingly on his wheel, a lot of battery still, wanting to make that position and wanting to move himself up towards 2nd place, because that is the moment where you can gain or lose a lot of positions. Niels making a mistake seemingly and decided to retire in the pit lane, and the first penalty is a fact again as well. It is Jesus Noel, first driver to pick up that penalty. And yeah, once again, a relatively quiet lap time, only a small move between the leaders. And the real question now is who was able to maintain the most amount of ERS in those fighting early on, because you've got a few drivers, for example, Daniel, he's on like 1/3 of his ERS, as you can see on the steering wheel itself. that means that he has been pushing a lot more compared to a lot of other drivers. Because Knut, for example, he's got a full bar. He's got 100% ERS, and he is just absolutely maintaining and controlling his momentum and ERS. And he seemingly has this race all under control. Nearly halfway now on this hard state. It's late movement there from Kovas. Nearly a crash from Knut, but now able to go up the inside again. It's a consistent move. It keeps constantly happening. It goes well all the time. But now Dirk putting it a little bit up the inside now. Having the overtake fully on. And now off again. Trying to go for a move. Trying to snoop it up the inside. Now looking. Breaking later up the inside goes Dirk. And finally Dirk is bringing in that action. Kovas now under pressure a lot there. Needs to keep it side by side in Rauch and then break hopefully a little bit later for him. But don't collect Knut there. He didn't break late enough because the Alpine there was still ahead of him. Now coming in toward the Wolf curve. Still side by side. Incredible racing between the top two. And this is what Knut absolutely would love to see. He would somehow be able to wish that he got outside of that 1 second range. But meanwhile Dirk gets that position all done from Kovas. And he now slides up in towards that second position. And it's exactly the scare that was there. The threat between Knut and Kovas, because once Dirk gets involved, once he takes second place, you do not want to be the guy that runs in third place. Knut seemingly handling it perfectly, and that's why they had to keep swapping lap after lap after lap. And there goes Kovas again because Skyline has him on the exit, making that move there. Now it's only a question of time. Is Shazoo Manchu going to go for it as well? Seemingly not. Kovas wanting to go back up the inside. Breaks very late, all done well. A little bit of a rear look from Knut there, nearly fully spinning around. Skyline though, and Kovas still side by side. Who has got the better exit? Seemingly is Skyline. Now with the slipstream coming up again towards the car of Dirk, who's able to break the latest. It is seemingly equal. So they're going to be still side by side on the exit. Who's able to go on the throttle earlier? It is Skyline. He gets that position done as well. And Kovas going from P1 to P4 in 2 laps.
Yeah, it's a horrible catastrophe for Covers over the last couple of laps. He's fallen down to 4th here in this one, and he's got to just keep his head, not do anything silly, because 4th at Austria, it's not like you're 4th at Monaco. You've still got a chance to win. You can play your strategy, you can go for moves, and you can still potentially win this Austrian Grand Prix, but there is a long way to go for now. But it is drama across the field, and you can see the train just snaking their way down the straights in towards the Niki Lauda curve, and here comes Dirk up the hill. Can we have a new race leader maybe? We've had Newton Covers lead this one. Can Dirk put his name on the Austrian Grand Prix Season 35 race leaders list? Well, not for now, but he might have another go into the slosh goal. He sort of played that more tactical than we've seen Newton Covers do. They usually went for the move at the earliest occasion, and he's not burning his battery, so I think he is just in race management mode. These guys are not. This is Max van der Geest and Ian Van Noonen pushing Van der Geest right onto the edge of the grass. Van Noonen now is the inside line and just leaves him enough space. That is actually really good defending from Ian Van Noonen, because it looked like it was going to be an incident, but no, he just left enough space to not get the stewards on his hands, but also give Max a little bit of a panic. And I suppose you want to put an element of uncertainty in the back of the head of the driver behind, because they might think twice about overtaking you then, and you can capitalise on that, because Ian Van Noonen certainly is. He's now on the tail of Macho. Ian taking a bit of a different line through that final corner every time is something I've noticed. He sort of uses the inside a lot more than others who use the outside necessarily. But lap 13 out of 36, this is still a cracking race so far. Are we going to have any change up the front this time round? Doesn't look like it, but anything can really happen at Austria, and it has happened this evening so far. But once again, would like to remind you, if you're enjoying the action, hit that red button. It's absolutely free.
Yeah, but not a lot has happened, you do say, but Skyline and Dirk slowly creeping up and becoming more and more of a threat for that race win. We got, if you just look at the top 10, it is so diverse. You got an Alpine, Aston Martin, McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, Alfa Tauri, Red Bull, Williams, Alfa Romeo. You got 9 different manufacturers inside the top 9. That is just purely incredible. It just shows how tight this constructors battle will be, and you got a few teams and a few names that we were able to pick out in the beginning of the season, but once you've got 9 different constructors in the top 9, it just shows how close and how competitive this field really is and really can be, because we got an Alpine in the lead and an Alpine who has DNF'd. So Alpine wise, they're currently being carried very much by Knut, but the constructors battle, even later on the season, it will it is always going to be very, very interesting. This time round, it's a bit bigger gaps everywhere, so I doubt we're really going to be seeing any moves forced here. Ian is the only driver really close. He's got a lot of a gap behind him, but Dirk will going up the inside of Knut. it is a simple move up the inside, and it is the swapping that we were seeing before between Dirk and Knuf. But this time, Knuf is on the poor end of it. It's kind of going to go for a move here. No, easy defending up the inside, done by Knuf and well defended. Meanwhile, Zane has seemingly spun together with Jacob Konias, and those two drivers have lost now a lot of time, and that means that they are out of contention for a race win.
Yeah, a bit of an incident there between the Ferrari and the Alfa Romeo, and they go flying down the order for the time being. Lap 14 out of 36. We're not even halfway through this race, but certainly we almost don't want it to be halfway through, because it's been a cracker so far here at the Red Bull Ring. It is an almost Christmas cracker, but we still got plenty of time to go, and we don't really know who's going to win this one just yet. Newt is going for his first race win in 4 seasons. Dirk is going for his first race win since earlier on this season. He, of course, won the Hungarian Grand Prix. Apologies, I was looking at the standings and I thought it was the Dutch Grand Prix. I was going to say, we haven't been to Zandvoort yet, but he won the Hungarian Grand Prix. But he's not leading the Austrian one much longer. That now belongs to the German. Their battery throughout the course of this Grand Prix. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out in towards the Slosh goal. It's not going to play out in towards the Slosh goal. They both stay line astern for the time being. Cover's working his way, or trying to work his way back up, I should say. But he's actually being pegged back a little, because Macho goes for the outside in towards Rauch, not Roche, as I was saying earlier. This is why we have a Central European in the commentary box to correct my horrendous mispronunciations, but it is Rauch. I presume it's named after the company, but look, that's a conversation for a more intelligent man, as we will see. Heading through the Jochen Rindt curve. I got that one nailed on. That's actually a problem for Fede. What has happened to Fede here? Oh, he's into the pit lane. That's a very early stop. Oh, locks a brake. Very early pit stop that for Fede, though, Thorman.
I don't even know if that's mathematically possible to stay out for that long and survive. Oh, he's got wing damage. I think that will explain it. Likely being involved in the crash between Zane and Jacob, most likely. Jacob, who had to pit 1 lap before that, he's currently already on the medium tires. And Kova's losing another spot because Macho has fully gone up the inside and made that move stick there. Tried to go around the outside earlier in Rauch, but he was unable to do so. And now this time round, Macho being able to complete that move and do it all well. And Kova's going from the lead all the way down towards P5. And I have to apologize, Kovas. It's all my fault. I mean, you really need to blame Evan for constantly asking me the question on who's going to win. But yeah, I mean, that's a story for another day. Ian Van Unen, meanwhile, he is just absolutely chilling in P6. And he's just someone who's been on a lot of ERS for a very long time, but not made any positions. I think he is the dark horse in this one. He has a lot of pace, but not really been able to show it. Meanwhile, we got some more pit stops. It's Diogo Silva, who's in the pit lane, together with ADT Daniel. Both going for a fresh set of mediums again, going for that undercut, going very, very early. Let's also actually see where Fede and Dark will end up. Of course, Fede, who had to change his wings, so let's go on board with Dark, because I do believe that he was at the further end of the field, and with a nice undercut, he still was unable to really make up a lot of ground, because Diogo Silva is coming out in the train of Phil and Noel, which actually, that will be interesting, because you have 10 lap old mediums coming out around against medium tires who have all been outside of the pit lane, and they will need to get past this duo as soon as possible. Diogo Silva already DRS opening and the ERS as well, and he needs to burn like crazy to get past it, but Phil and Noel are not going to be making it easy on him. A little bit late braking or late moving there from Noel, but able to make that move stick up the inside of Phil earlier on, and now going up the inside now of Rauch. That will be an incredible overtake by Diogo Silva. Like I said, making those moves as soon as possible and getting it done early. Meanwhile, OP Covers, Ian Van Unen, Max van der Kiest, and Thales are all into the pit lane. Early pit stops, especially for Covers and Ian. Those were two drivers that have been at the top for this whole race, going as early as lap 18. And at this point, it's not really early. It's probably around the average lap time, because you'll see a lot of other drivers going to the pit lane at a later point. Dirk will going up the inside of Knuf, meaning that it's likely for Dirk to make a pit stop on the next lap time, on the next time round, because he wants to be the leader going in towards him. But Knut burning because he wants to take the lead when going into the pit lane. So a little bit of DRS games there into Slosgold there. Is there enough space given? There is indeed enough space given because Knut has to yield back, and Dirk now fully back in towards the lead. And I expect these two race leaders to make that pit stop as soon as possible. We currently got the top 4 of Dirk, Knut, Skyline, and Macho. And Zorzo, one of your championship top 4, picking up a penalty. 3-second time penalty for him.
It's chaos here in the middle of the pack. We've been jumping back and forth while the battle for the lead is going. It's absolute carnage. Diogo Silva is the top man on the medium tires. The brilliant Brazilian, which is a nickname that I've given to many Brazilians, but sorry, Diogo. It is him ahead of Covers, and now we do see the top 4 all into the pit lane. Matteo extending long. Danielle is in 11th, Van Unen just behind him, and then Dark, of course, on the hard compound tyres. Where does Diogo Silva come out in relation to those who are exiting the pit lane? It's a really short pit lane here in the Red Bull Ring, but it's also a really short circuit, so it kind of counteracts itself. Here comes Diogo Silva. Where are the rest of them coming out of the pit lane? You can see they are just filing in behind. Dirk and Covers battling side by side. Here we go up the hill. It's the Mercedes going for the outside of the Aston Martin in towards turn 3. And look at this Van Unen with the aggressive move up the inside. They're all piling in to the one corner, all looking for the same space of track. And this race is completely being tipped on its head here at the Red Bull Ring. Weaving all the way down towards turn number 4. The Schloss goal. Dirk on the inside of Danielle. He's trying to get after Covers and Diogo Silva. It's Argy Bargy in the background. Skyline almost going off the circuit. Newton Van Unen battling side by side. Here in towards Rauk for the 19th time this race. Max von Geest up the inside. There's a bit of a nudge between the pair of them. Skyline is falling down the order here. Does he have front wing damage? No, not sure about it. But Diogo Silva, when Zorzo comes into the pit lane, is going to lead the Austrian Grand Prix. He's masterclassed the strategy, and his tyres are not that much worse than the rest of the field. And there's a Williams off in the background. There is a Williams off in the background. That is Tales, who has gone off into the wall at the Red Bull Mobile curve. If a safety car came out there, that would have been horrible timing for most of the pack. Covers gets the job done on Zane. Diogo Silva soaring up the hill. Here comes Newton Dirk side by side for not the first time this race, but it's a lot more important this time, and it's a lock and a break for the Aston Martin. Through goes Ian Van Unen, gets the up and under on the pair because they ran so wide heading through turn number 4. Newt now covers off Dirk. Dirk losing positions rapidly here in this race, and he's pulled off. There's something gone wrong majorly for the Aston Martin of TF10 Dirk. We will not have a repeat winner in the form of TF10 Dirk here today because his race win chance has gone from underneath them. He locked a break in towards turn number 3 of Remus. He hit the Alpine Championship leader in Newt, and now he's pulled off and strundling back to the pit lane. What a dramatic turnaround here at Austria.
There was wing damage already on the car of Dirk, and he tried to defend the position, tried to maintain in the train as long as possible, but ultimately outbroke himself and took the championship leader Knuf with him. And I do believe that this will be ending up in towards the steward room, because with wing damage like that, it is heretical to make those risks. But at the end of the day, we have to continue with the racing. Daniel and Ian get both going past Zane left and right. I do believe Hakkinen and Schumacher did that on Belgium. It's probably going to be wrong. The two drivers, and I no clue who he did it on, but it was somewhat like that move. Max van der Kies, he made it 3 wide a while back and getting past Ian Van Unen at that moment, but he has obviously been pegged back and lost that position. Knuf again also making his way past Jesus Zane, and I think Zane has found himself in this position multiple times over the season now. So also, meanwhile, still out on track again as well, but he is pitting now. So he has gone for a massive overcut. Of course, having those 3 seconds is not going to be able to help him, but he will have very fresh tires. And if we end up having a safety car now, he is definitely going to stay out, because everyone around him will be helping in towards the pit lane. And if the battles will be going on like this, a safety car will not surprise me. Meanwhile, Covers absolutely putting on the belters, trying to make as big of a gap as possible towards the drivers behind him, because him and Diogo Silva are now already 3 seconds clear of the rest of the field, and which is Daniel, who's got Ian Van Unen right behind him, who's going for an easy move up the inside, and he will now grab the rope and try to pretty much drag everyone else back towards that leading DRS train. They need to work together this train. The question is, how well will they be able to do it? Max van der Kies meanwhile looking behind to try and make a move on Daniel again as well. Daniel going back up the inside towards Ian Van Unen, having to brake very early, which allows Max van der Kies to go around the outside fully. It's Roos Roskold doing that so amazingly, coming up towards Rauch now, able to break a lot later, probably going up towards the inside, and that is a move done for Max van der Kies. Incredible overtake. Knuf trying to go up the inside as well. Profits from it, does in the move curve. Absolutely incredible overtake from Knuf again as well, and he puts himself now back up towards P5. Incredible comeback race from Knuf. It is exactly what he needed to do. Score consistent points, and making those moves are absolutely crucial for his championship chances, and he will now be looking up to gain more and more time towards the train ahead. 3.1 seconds now is the gap between Covers and Diego Silva and Ian Van Unens, because they are just swapping over and over and over again. Meanwhile, Amateo going up towards P7 as well, and Johan making a move up the inside of Skyline again as well. Nacho retiring in the pit lane. Brief.
Yeah, Macho is out of the Austrian Grand Prix, our second DNF of the day. We've got plenty of racing to go, and it's looking like this is a two-horse race at the front between Covers and Diogo Silva. Very interesting to see what Diogo Silva can do. Covers is trying to bolt away. They've both used a lot of their battery, but so have the guys behind them trying to cut through the field. Van Unen is now the chasing car, and sometimes, or certainly if you are a cycling fan, you can see the big bunch behind usually catch the sole leaders, the peloton, of course, catching the leaders. If you're a cycling fan, is there many cycling fans in Europe, I suppose? But we will wait and see. Skyline picks up a 3-second time penalty. He is out of the points for the time being, which is disappointing for the McLaren that was leading for most of this race. Matteo is on the back of Danielle here. Keep an eye on Matteo. He's on the freshest tyres of the bunch up the front. He'll be looking to cut through the field fairly quickly. Noel, unfortunately, his bad habit kicks in once again, and that's another 3-second time penalty for the young Hungarian. He's got to get better on track limits if he wants to try and get a few good results here in PSGL this season. Here comes Matteo for the outside in towards turn number 3. That's way later than the Haas of Danielle. He wanted that outside. He's got that outside. He's got the traction, but actually nudged the wheel of the Haas down towards turn number 4. Here they go, though. He's got to tuck back into the slipstream again. And he's not nearly alongside, or is he? It's a huge lunge down the inside from the Qatar Grand Prix winner, Matteo, trying this one now in towards Rauch for the 24th time of this race. Matteo on the outside, Danielle on the inside. Oh, that's classy. That's elegant and beautiful from Matteo. He's up to 6th here in this race. That is a yellow flag, and that is the AlphaTauri of Knoll. His race goes from pretty poor to bad to worse in the last lap.
Yeah, the massive trains finally getting to gain slowly and surely. 3/10 gained over the last lap time. Ian Van Unen slowly making ground inwards towards Covers, but Ian Van Unen still derating. But the Vlotje Academy driver just showing off why he is such a quick and promising driver, and just gaining up towards the drivers up ahead. Skyline meanwhile retiring in the pit lane again as well. Oh my days, what am I seeing here? Up the inside goes Knuf, and around the outside goes Max van der Kies. But Knuf making two positions happening at once, picking out the right moment at the right opportunity. There's still Max van der Kies and Ian Van Unen going side by side, and it surprised me so much just seeing two cars go up the inside. And it's not like Ian Van Unen broke incredibly early. That was just an incredible move from both Max and Knuf, and I would love to spectate that POV from Ian again. Please tell me you got that.
I didn't actually even see it. I was trying to fix something on the broadcast, but we got it in towards turn number 2. I think it was an off-board POV, but you can really watch that one later, Timon. But lap 25 out of 36. He's back in his little risk-taking mode again, isn't he? It's what we saw at the season opener in Suzuka, where he was just taking a few risks that maybe an older youth mightn't have, or a younger youth, I should say, mightn't have taken. But he's now got to fend off Max van der Kies and Ian Van Unen in towards turn number 3, and Ian Van Unen is like a raging bull attacking the bull in towards turn number 3 at the Red Bull Ring. Of course, he's not able to make the move up the inside, but he will try to replay the action that Max did on him in towards turn number 4. It's not going to work, though, because he's not got a good exit at all. He's not quite under pressure from Matteo in the back, however. And just an update up the front, Covers and Diogo Silva is keeping with Covers here, and he is keeping pace with the rest of the field. What a result this would be for Diogo Silva if he was able to win the Austrian Grand Prix. Diogo Silva, of course, for the Williams team. He finished P8 in F2 last season, had a couple of good performances and good showings here or there, but Diogo Silva qualified 7th for this race, so if he was able to win it, that would be a stunning performance. But We start lap 27. We round the Red Bull Mobile curve. Matteo is right on the back of me and Vanoon, and this could go multiple ways.
Yeah, definitely. Again, though, Knut gained around half a second on the past lap time. It's going back and forth because every time there's a fight in this train, the two leaders are able to gain a lot of time. And then once they just get a clear lap, they gain a lot of time once
Ian.
more.
Big
So
mistake
just
for
going
Ian.
back and forth. Ian Van Unen making that mistake, and easy overtake that done by Armateo. Armateo, dark horse again this race. We haven't really spoken about him a lot, but being at P5 and driving a very consistent lap race, and he's also got the freshest tires out of everyone around him here, so he's definitely one to still watch out for. He's not got fully the freshest tires because that would be Zorzo, but he's down in P11 with a 3-second time penalty, so we do not really have to look at that all that much. Skyline clearly not all happy about the racing standards.
Ooh.
So there might be something figured out in the steward's room afterwards, but that's something to look at a later moment. Meanwhile, we still got Armateo being very close towards the back end of Max van der Kiest, trying to make up as much time and position as possible and trying to go past this Red Bull because he's on the freshest tires and seemingly also the quickest. And if there's one man that could gain back towards the leading train, I do believe at this current moment it would be Armateo, but it will be very late because there are only 8 more laps to go. Max van der Kiest using a little bit of ERS to get away from Armateo and get closer towards the back end of Knut, but I do not think that he will be going for an overtake anytime soon. Jesus Zane being was setting down that fastest lap, he himself being in P14 again, overextending for a very long time on that hard set of tires, but with doing that, so fully bringing himself out of contention. Meanwhile, Zorza going up the inside of Johan, braking very late, but able to still keep the car in facing the right way and able to make sure that he made the corner. Nice move from him in Slosgold. Now again, looking for it, Diogo Silva has got a little bit more ERS than OP Covers, meaning that I do believe Diogo Silva is playing the safe game, but he's not able to gain all that much because he still needs to gain and stay with Covers. And Covers, he's unable to gain because he's still got that train of fresher tires right behind him. And if he starts to chill all that much, they are able to gain and put Covers and Diogo Silva under a whole lot of pressure.
Oh, Ian Van Unen, huge tank slapper on the exit of turn number 1. He's got a 3-second time penalty for it, and he's lost 2 positions. But look at these two up in towards turn number 3. This is new to the outside of Max van der Kiest. Max van der Kiest has made a brilliant move up the inside, and that's allowed Matteo to sneak through as well. The championship leader is down to 5th here in PSGL F2. This is dramatic. You cannot take your eyes off this one, ladies and gents. Here comes the German to the outside of the Aston Martin, heading through turn number 4. Newt, of course, has a championship to fight for. His rival, at this point, probably Matteo is his biggest rival at this point, really, in terms of the championship standings, of course. It is Matteo directly behind him, but Zorzo is just 2 points adrift, and still, we're very early in the season, and anything can happen. Still here in PSGL Season 35. Up the front, it is Covers, who leads from Diogo Silva. Diogo has a little bit more battery, so if he can keep within 1 second, has every chance of winning the Austrian Grand Prix. What a result it would be for Diogo Silva, who was able to take his first win of the season, and we would go 5 from 5 in terms of race winners. But there's still plenty of time to go. Dark picks up a 3-second time penalty. He is still carrying on in 10th spot on those hard tires. I do feel for him, to be honest, because he's on the worst, or one of the worst tires in the field, and they're also a compound heavier, so I do really feel for Dark. He's going to be struggling an awful lot. Here comes Matteo looking for this one on Max van der Kiest into the right-hander. It's not going to work out for now, but these guys are not catching the front two, and I certainly think it's a 2-horse race up the front between Covers and Diogo Silva for the win of this Grand Prix.
It should be a 2-man's race, but it's F1, and you'll never really know what happens. Maybe Covers is trying to get away because he is now on 3% of ERS, so I think he used this lap to try and get away, to try and maintain that gap. But Diogo Silva now nearing halfway of his battery, and this might be Diogo Silva's opportunity to go past Covers and then try to drive away from that 1 second. But even if you have a full battery compared to someone who doesn't really have a whole lot, it is still nearly impossible to drive away from a second. You need your opponent behind to make a mistake, and I think that happened to Diogo Silva, and Covers tried to gain on that, but unfortunately for him, that was unable to happen. Meanwhile now, Diogo Silva, is he going for a move on this lap? I don't think so. Who is going for a lap? Or overtake? Is Armenteo going up the inside of Max van der Kies? Easily done. Meanwhile, Jesus Fede and Daniel are still side by side, but a bad exit from Fede, and means that he makes up that position. Fully on the ERS, trying to make a move up the inside of Curve as well. Not going for it, but slightly moving and defending the inside line. Ian Van Unemeel trying to go fully around the outside. Of course, he still has that penalty, but unable to really go past Daniel. But can he do it now? Rauch breaking later, and indeed he does, and he makes that position sick. But with that penalty, he will be dropping back very far. Daniel, though, picking up a penalty as well. So that overtake that he just made happen is now actually for a position worthy as well. And Matteo immediately driving a 7.5 tenths gap towards Max behind. He has a whole lot of pace, but it is not going to be enough pace to gain that gap towards Covers. And meanwhile, again, still Diogo Silva gaining on Covers slowly but surely. And I do believe if I'm a betting man, I would put my money currently on Diogo Silva. It's a mistake, but I hope he Covers nearly losing it fully. And that is the opportunity and the mistake that Diogo Silva needed to maintain and get into the lead. And now is the question, is he able to fully drive away from it there? It's a big snap from Covers on the exit, able to keep it out of the crowd, and most importantly, out of the wall. No damage to Covers, but definitely he did get a good scare out of it. Very scary moments for him. Meanwhile, Kloef going up the inside of Max van der Kies, making that position up again. Now it's 8 times gap to Armenteo, so he might need to burn a little bit to get back in there. Ian Van Unen getting past Jesus Fede as well, making up the 2 position that he lost in an earlier moment, but he is now at this moment flashing again as well. So everything is happening behind the scenes, and it seems like it's still going to be a 2-man race, but it nearly was just a 1-man show.
Cora's getting a bit of a scare. I think his fellow Dutch compatriot Thyman got a bit of a scare there as well. But a big mistake for Covers. But he's almost in a better position here. I wonder, is Diogo going to fall behind? Because Diogo is going to be very aware of the knowledge that he has more battery than Covers does. I wonder, is Diogo going to sit behind and go from the move? Or would he rather defend from the front or attack from the back coming into the final stages of this race? I'm not so sure, as he is ahead here, and it doesn't look like Covers is looking to attack immediately, although he is gaining and gaining and gaining, and he's going to go for the inside. Covers breaks way later. Diogo Silva is going to go for the up and under, and he has sent Covers off the circuit to the shops. Bye bye Covers, says Diogo Silva. What a dummy by the Portuguese man. That's incredible for him. A great move from the NLR man. He has absolutely taken Covers for a walk there. That is a move and a half from the Williamsman. Zorzo gets ahead of Fede, though. The gap is coming down as well between Covers and Matteo. This is going to be a fight to the end of this one.
Yeah, definitely. Covers maybe being a little bit too desperate to get back in the lead. Just chill behind at this point and make that move happen on the final lap. But make sure that those drivers behind do not get you. And I do believe that that's the thing that Covers is worried about. But at this moment, he should be worried about himself losing the DRS towards Diogo Silva. Diogo Silva using around 20% on this lap time and making the gap already towards 7 tenths. But that's what I'm saying. It's nearly impossible to fully drive out of the DRS, because with 2 or 3 DRS zones, actually, Covers should be able to fully regain his gap and get back in. And if I was Covers, I would chill behind for 2 laps, because if you have nearly an equal amount of ERS, it is fully equal. But if you have Diogo Silva behind you with a lot more ERS, because you're able to gain ERS easier when you are behind an opponent, I would not like to have Diogo Silva in this situation. So Covers wise, I would rather sit behind here, gain some ERS and try it on the final lap, than be ahead, have Diogo Silva behind you with 40% more ERS and then go for it at that moment in time. Meanwhile, still Armenteo in P3, Knuf in 4th, Max is in P6, and you got Ian Van Unen, Zorzo, who out of nowhere has appeared. 4-lap fresher tyres, incredible strategy for him. You need to gain 1.5 seconds to get back in towards that leading group. And Ian Van Unen is loving the fact that we had a few drop-offs behind, because Daniel, we need to mention it, top 4 contender, championship contender in P10 with a penalty, fully dropped out of this race slipping out of his control and fully away from him. And Zorzo driving himself back in, showing how good he can actually be. Covers, though, getting very close towards the back end of Diogo Silva, trying to go for a move early on. Let's see if he's going to go for it. Is Diogo Silva going to lead the final lap, or will it be Covers? Covers going for the inside now, up the inside in turn number 3 in Riemanns. Easy move on the braking, and it is a nice move done by him. 1.8 seconds now is the gap behind, and Armenteo would love for a big battle to emerge in this second to last lap, but
definitely.
it seemingly will not happen. Your race winner will likely be either Covers or Diogo Silva, or something really crazy needs to happen on the final lap. Knuf going up the inside of Armateo. He thinks that he would rather fancy being up ahead, and with equal amount of battery, it may be a very good call made by Knuf there. He settles for third position. The question now is, who will take the win and who will finish in third?
Here we go then. Lap 36. It's almost identical to what happened last season. We just have two different cars fighting for the race win. Newt and Matteo will battle it out for third. Covers and Diogo Silva are both going for their first win of season 35 here in PSGL. Mercedes versus Williams. In towards the Niki Lauda curve for the final time. It is Covers who leads. He was so eager to lead after making that mistake. He obviously feels that he's got the power and the abilities to defend from the Portugueseman. Here comes Diogo Silva up towards Remus for the final time. He breaks later. There's a bit of DRS chicken up the hill, but the Williams has got the job done. Who gets the exit and the traction? Diogo Silva gets the traction out of turn number 3. He's just got to defend down to the slush goal. As Covers played his cards too early on the penultimate lap here. He's had a bit of a slide here. The tyres are starting to fall. Diogo Silva even has a bit of a wobble as well, heading in towards Rauk for the final time. But the Williamsman is doing everything he can to just keep that gap at a sensible margin. In towards the final sector now. They're both absolutely gunning for this one. Any mistake is costly at this point. The Jochen Rindt curve and the Red Bull Mobile curve to go. Diogo Silva played his hands perfectly, and rounding the final corner, the hills are alive with Allegra as the Portugueseman wins the Austrian Grand Prix. Covers' win has not come here today. He's taken pole, but it's second for the second time this season. Newt will stand on a podium once again here in PSGL F2 season 35. He beats Matteo. What an Austrian Grand Prix.
Absolutely incredible. Matteo nearly getting Knuf as well on the line. 34 or 43 thousandths of a second at the end. Fede and Johan 57 thousandths of a second. So it was some very close finishes towards the end. Tellers getting across the line right now to fully finish off this race. And wow, what an Austrian Grand Prix it was. Chaos from start to finish, and it was a crazy mix-up in strategy. And my race prediction, Covers getting second place, I think that was close enough.
Look, it's better than any prediction I've ever given to this tier, so fair enough time, and a good prediction there. As Covers says, a simple GG to Diogo Silva, and then, unfortunately, calls himself a bit of an idiot there. So, we're going to hope that we can hear from some of our top 3. Don't worry, it's not a black screen. We are loading to the podium screen. For the time being, but we will wait and see. Yeah, we are still loading, so hopefully we can get that fairly soon. NLR Wizzy in the chat saying up at NLR. NLR Tom saying hashtag NLR win. The next, or not the next level racing, that's a brand. NLR will be delighted with that one, as here is Diogo Silva claiming his Austrian Grand Prix winner's trophy. We are going to hear from Covers after the race. I'm not sure if we're going to get to hear from our race winner. We'll probably get to hear from Newt. He kind of joins us every week, pretty much, give or take. So hopefully we can get those guys in. But we will get your full race results in a moment. We'll get them exactly now, as here... Or will we? Because it's for some reason not liking to load today, and I'm not too sure why. No, I don't think we're going to get your full race results, unfortunately, because it is just...
I do have them.
Oh, do you have them, Timon?
I mean, I just scrolled back on stream to see what those results were when they crossed the finish line. It's Diogo Silva in first, Govers in second, Knuf in third, Amateo in fourth, Max in fifth, Ian Van Unen in sixth, Johan in seventh, Fede in eighth. Then you got Zorzo and Danielle rounding out the top 10. Then you have Dark with it 21 laps on those hards. He must have been absolutely suffering. Phil in 12th. Zane in 13th, Jacob Konias in P14, Dirk and Dallas in P15 and 16, who were the final finishers. And then we had 4 DNFs today, which was Skyline, Noel, Macho and Niels.
Thank you very much, Timon. We're going to bring in second and third place. We're going to bring in Covers and Youth. Hello, Covers and Youth. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to start with Covers, our second place man. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get to hear from Diogo, but we will start with Covers. Covers,
Yeah.
it is second place again. And unfortunately, you've lost it on the last lap this time. That was a hectic race. Talk us through it.
Yeah, for sure. I think qualifying was okay. After that, the race, I was quite struggling with my setup. I think I got a little bit too aggressive of a setup. So especially in the first stint, it was conceding places. I pitted a little bit earlier, I think, than the rest, and that actually saved my race, I think, because of that I was just ahead of everybody else. And then, of course, the last few laps, I think, a bit of an error for myself. I thought that passing Diogo on the second to last lap would have been a good idea, and for me to actually pull away on the first straight, and then was hoping that he wouldn't have catch me on the second straight, but unfortunately he was close enough on the first straight, and he did a smart move, and just a bit bummed that I couldn't get first place again, because I think it's like my 5th or 6th second in PSGL, and still without a win hit, unfortunately. But I mean, I can't be too unhappy because it's still second place, but it feels a bit better.
Of course, we all want to win, but in terms of the bigger picture, the championship, you're still doing quite well in it, and that is going to be a big boost for yourself. In terms of championship, in the long run, do you think you can win it? Do you think you can beat the other guys here in the interview channel?
Oh, I hope so, of course. But I think as long as Noot is scoring these decent points, then it's going to be hard, of course. I mean, I think I'm like 20 points behind already. So if he can keep the consistency up, he'll be the one to beat, of course. But well, we got to see. I mean, I think I have the pace. I just need to pull it together and make sure every race I'm up there in the top.
Timon, any questions from yourself?
Well, I have one, of course, which is a very annoying question to always ask, because I do believe that this second place puts you up towards P3, which is obviously a very nice position for you to be in the championship currently. What are the goals that you are aiming for in this season? Because at the start you were tipped to be one of the title contenders, of course. Now you found yourself in third position. Is your goal still to win the title?
Of course, it is still the goal to win the title. I mean, it would be weird if I wouldn't say that, right? But no, I think, of course, I had a few races that didn't go my way. I was a bit unlucky sometimes, and in Qatar, it was just I lost myself. So I just need to get it all together. Also, maybe a bit of luck, and then of course, we'll go for it for the championship. Yeah, that's the main goal.
Yeah, I mean, you drove an amazing race today, and I think you definitely do deserve this. I do have one more question, because I do believe in lap 32, 33, you had a late send up the inside in turn 3.
Yeah.
You overshot it, or did you make a mistake on the braking, or what was your aim?
Yeah, no, I just broke way too late. I was willing to pass him, and then I just missed the 100 meter board, and it just went straight on. I didn't mean to, but luckily I didn't hit Diogo. That was one positive thing, but other than that, it was not my intention. No.
Well, thank you very much for your time and effort. Unless Evan has anything to say, I think we can wish you a great evening.
Yeah, thank you very much, Covers. Greatly appreciate
you too, guys.
That win will come. You are an extremely quick driver. We're sure of it. That win will come.
Thanks, bro. Thanks.
Thankfully, it is my pleasure to report that our race winner, Diogo, has joined us. Diogo, can you hear us?
Yes. Good night.
Diogo, you are a race winner this season. A brilliant strategy from you, from 7th on the grid. A brilliant move on the last lap. How does that one feel, that race win?
Feels very good. I mean, last season I lost 2 races on the last lap, so finally I could get the win. I think the race was very good. On the first stint time, I managed a lot. I lost the position, so I was on 8th, I guess. I tried the undercut, so I boxed on lap 17. And then the out lap was very good. I could overtake 2 cars, and that was essential. I mean, I did the undercut to all the drivers in front of me, and then I was very surprised with the gap that me and Covers had to the cars behind. My plan was always to attack him on the last lap, and fortunately I was behind him on the last lap, and I could make the move and win the race. So very happy, and hope to get some more wins this season.
Yeah, just on that point, your best result this season so far is 6th. You were 16th in the championship before this race. You now have a win under your belt. Is there any races in the future that you think you can get another win this season, or multiple?
I don't know. I mean, probably my favorite track until the end of the championship is Miami. So, but I didn't do any race in this game there. But we'll see. I mean, on the last 2 races, I didn't make any points. Last race, me and Covers have had an incident, and I think I was for a podium. But I mean, I think that this race was the best response to the Las Vegas race. So I'm hoping to continue to score points and try to get podiums and in wins, of course.
Tyler.
Because yourself, you've made an absolutely massive gain. But I didn't really have a question just yet. I was going to mention that you are actually one of the drivers that were more consistent throughout this season, because you've pretty much in every single race nearly scored points. I mean, a B11, it's might as well beat points, and you are someone that's very consistent as well. I mean, clearly it's the way that NLR treats these drivers, because the other man in this VC is very consistent as well. Your plan was to overtake on the final lap always, and you had a massive ERS advantage. Did you not think you were able to drive away a full second compared to Covers when he made that mistake around lap 32 when he went fully straight on?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I was 6 tenths in front, but I mean, I couldn't gain 4 tenths on the last sector, so he was on my DRS, and I mean, I think he had no battery at that time, but anyways, the DRS is so strong on this game, and particularly on this track that has 3 zones, so I think it was impossible to gain over a second to him.
Diogo, thank you very much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Go celebrate that win. You worked hard for it, and you certainly deserve it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
And then lastly, we do have 3 interviews for a record-breaking, probably first time in PSGL F2 history. We were almost aching to get an interview from this man last season and previous seasons. Now he's with us every single week, it feels like. He only missed 1 week with us, and that was when he had a shocker in qualifying in Hungary, but it's back on the podium. It's P3. Newt, what another great race from you.
Thank you for the kind words.
Yeah, sorry, I can't be nice to you every week.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race, to be honest. And obviously, for the first time, I did a good qualifying, actually.
We were just as shocked as you were.
I think my best result before that in quali was like P7 or so. So starting at the front was definitely a bit new to me. Let's say it like that.
Was it a bit new to you? No, never mind. So today's race, you were battling at the front, of course. I can see Timon rubbing his face with that one in the face camera. In terms of that race, of course, you were leading from the front, and then there was a lot of problems with traffic. And then, of course, there was a move where Dirk locked his brakes, and you were sort of almost blocked past in towards turn 4. You had to run wide. What happened on those whole outlaps? Because it decided the race for some people. Thankfully, you still got on the podium because of it, but it did let Covers and Diogo get away. So, from your eyes, what happened coming out of the pits, basically?
Basically what happened is we obviously got released pretty much in the middle of the traffic, me and Dirk. and I knew I had to get past pretty fast, because obviously Dirk is in the championship fight too, so he's not gonna let me pass easily. And he didn't. He made it quite difficult, and eventually he just made a small mistake, I would say, in a hairpin, nothing too bad. And luckily I didn't get any damage or something from it. It was just pretty much an attempt to just try to keep me behind, I would say so. And obviously that pretty much cost me the chance of getting a win. So yeah, I definitely wanted to get the win today, to be honest. I was feeling really comfortable in the race, especially in the first stint. And then after that, it was basically just hoping that Matteo with the fresh tires would get to the front easily, so he could catch back up to the two guys in front. But it took some time. I guess Matteo also played it a bit strategically, didn't waste any ERS, which was, I'd say, pretty smart in the end, because we didn't catch up. And then it was another fight between me and Matteo. And luckily this time I was able to stay in front. And I can't lie, it is a bit disappointing not to be able to fight for the win today after the race. But also I can't really be mad about another podium, and I think I'm gonna extend the championship lead again. So yeah, I'm really happy.
And for the final time, Timon, over to you.
I mean, you've answered all my questions. I was going to ask about what happened between you and Dirk, but that's already been fully covered. What are your plans for next race? Because we see an Italian flag there. How is your Italian? No.
I didn't understand anything, to be honest.
How is your face around
Italian?
Monza?
How's your
How's your Italian, first of all?
It's not pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, buongiorno. Yeah.
Is your pace around Monza better?
It's better than my language knowledge, definitely.
That's good to hear. I mean, you got Monza and Singapore left before the holiday break, and it's quite clear that you are the favorite to be going into that break as the leader. Monza or Singapore, it should be two very different tracks, of course. Are you sure and confident that you're able to maintain that championship lead?
Yep. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
I mean, it's about as short as an answer as my race prediction. But yeah, thank you again for your time here, Knut. I'm sure we'll see you again next week, knowing your pace and your consistency. You might as well just leave something here for you to collect for like next week. So you need to make sure you come back.
Yeah, thanks, Kimi Räikkönen. Really appreciate the words. It was great. We asked Knut about his Italian so much that he no longer wanted to speak English, which is a great start. But that is all we do have time for this week, ladies and gentlemen, in PSGL. Thank you very much for joining us. We had a lot of languages. I tried to speak Portuguese across the line as well, which was a new endeavour for me. But thank you very much for joining us. We greatly appreciate your support as always. If you're still watching, and once we end the stream, you will automatically be redirected over to James Head and Jessica Ball's PSGL F1 broadcast. I guarantee it's only English over there, by the way. There's no Portuguese. There's no Italian. There's no German. I know Newt didn't speak German, but he is German, so, it makes sense. I could even throw in a bit of Os Guelga, Gurav Margaret, for watching. Stay safe, stay well. We're going to leave you with a word from our sponsors, and we'll see you next week for the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. Bye-bye.